Good morning and happy Easter. Welcome back to our White Rose Kids lesson. For Kids Church this morning, we have a pretty predictable story. It probably won't surprise you, but we are going to be in the Jesus Storybook Bible again, one of our favorites. And the title that they give this story is God's Wonderful Surprise. So here we go. So remember where we left the story. It was kind of a sad ending, but now it picks up and we get to hear the happy part. So Jesus's friends were sad. They would never see their best friend again. How could this happen? Wasn't Jesus the rescuer? The King God had promised? It wasn't supposed to end like this. Yes, but whoever said anything about the end? Just before sunrise on the third day, God sent an earthquake and an angel from heaven. When the guards saw the angel, they fell down with fright. The angel rolled the huge stone away, sat on top of it, and waited. At the first glimmer of dawn, Mary Magdalene and the other women headed to the tomb to wash Jesus' body. The early morning sun slanted through the ancient olive trees, drops of dew glittering on leaves and grasses, little tears everywhere. The friends walked quietly along the hilly path through the olive groves until they reached the tomb, and immediately noticed something odd. It was wide open. They peered through the opening into the dark tomb. But wait, Jesus' body was gone. And something else. A shining man was there with clothes made from lightning. Don't be scared, the angel said. But they couldn't help it. They screamed anyway. The angel asked them, "What are you doing here? This is a tomb, and tombs are for dead people." The women couldn't speak. "Jesus isn't dead anymore," he said. "He's alive again." And their hearts leapt. And then the angel laughed with such gladness that they felt for a moment as if they had woken from a nightmare. The other women rushed home, but Mary stayed behind. How could it be true? Jesus was definitely dead. How could he be alive? Just then Mary heard someone else in the garden. Perhaps it's the gardener, she thought. He'll know where Jesus' body is. "I don't know where Jesus is," Mary said urgently. "I can't find him." But it was all right. Jesus knew where she was, and he had found her. Mary. Only one person said her name like that. She could hear her heart thumping. She turned around. She could just make out a figure. She shaded her eyes to see and thought she was dreaming. But she wasn't dreaming. She was seeing. Jesus! Mary fell to the ground. Sudden tears filled her eyes and great sobs shook her whole body. And all she wanted in that moment was to cling to Jesus and never let him go. "You'll be able to hold on to me later, Mary," Jesus said gently, "and always be close to me. But now, go and tell the others that I'm alive." Mary ran and ran all the way to the city. She had never run so fast or so far in all her life. She felt she could have run forever. She didn't even feel like her feet touched the ground. The sun seemed to be dancing and gleaming and bounding across the sky, racing with her and shining brighter than she could ever remember in the clear, fresh air. And it seemed to her that morning as she ran, almost as if the whole world had been made anew, almost as if the whole world was singing for joy. The trees, tiny sounds in the grass, the birds, her heart. Was God really making everything sad come untrue? Was he making even death come untrue? She couldn't wait to tell Jesus' friends. "They won't believe it," she laughed. She was right, of course, which is a story for another day. But this is such a great story and so important to our Christian faith, because without the resurrection of Jesus, we wouldn't have a relationship with God or with Jesus. We wouldn't be able to have faith in him. The resurrection is the promise that God has made come true. So now I'm going to have a special friend join me, and we are going to show you the story again in a fun little special way. My special guest for this morning is Piper. Piper, do you want to say hi to everybody?
Hi.
You want to tell them Happy Easter?
Happy Easter.
That's right. So we have some fun little dolls that Bethany and I have made, and Bethany worked very hard. So special shout out to Bethany, and we are going to tell you the story. So
yeah,
what had happened to Jesus? He was on the cross, and what happened?
He went in this tomb and he got healed.
He did, but first, Jesus had died on the cross, right?
Yeah.
So, and he had some special followers, some of his disciples. We have Joseph and another disciple, and they're going to wrap him up. So should we wrap him up a little bit? You want to help me?
I don't want to wrap him up a little.
Okay, well, I will wrap him up then. We'll wrap him.
Wrap him.
Okay, wrap him up.
Wrap him.
We're going to wrap up Jesus, and then
his face too.
His face too, yep. They wrapped up Jesus, and they brought him to the tomb. And the tomb belonged to Joseph of Arimathea, who was a rich man. And he was a disciple of Jesus. You want to help take him to the tomb? And they put Jesus in Joseph's tomb. We're going to put Jesus in there.
Oopsie.
Sorry. So put Jesus in the tomb. There we go. And they had a rock, and they rolled it into place. Oh, yeah. It's a big, heavy rock. And the rock is in place. So now Jesus is in the tomb, and Joseph and the other disciple, they go away sad, don't they? All right, so now they went away sad. And then it was morning. Now who comes to the tomb in the morning? Who comes?
Angel.
And what's the angel do?
They tell all about Jesus.
They roll away the stone, right?
Yeah.
And they leave it open, and they wait, don't they?
When did the guards come?
Oh, you're right. Here, there's guards outside the tomb, aren't they? And then the angels come, and what happens to the guards?
They go away.
They go away. They're scared. Ah! And then the angels roll the stone away, right? And they wait. Who are they waiting for? Who's coming? Some disciples, right? Some women who were followers of Jesus. So here come the women. They're bringing some special spices. They're going to prepare Jesus's body because they think he's still there. And they get there, and what do they notice? What do they notice?
He's gone.
He's gone. Where could he be? What's going on? They're so curious. And what does the angel tell them?
Whisper it in my ear. He's not here.
What? And they're so surprised. And they go to find somebody. Who do they go find?
Jesus.
They kind of, but they go to look for the disciples, don't they? Specifically, we see they tell Peter and John.
More.
They say, Jesus' body is gone. What? And so Peter and John take off running for the tomb. These guys stay behind. Can they run towards the tomb? And they get there. And what do they discover? They don't see the angels, do they? What do they discover? They look, and the tomb is empty. But what's still inside? The wrappings. The burial cloths. They find there's no body, but there's still the cloths. He was here, but he's gone. Right?
He's gone.
He's risen. And that is our verse today. Our Easter verse is from Matthew 28, verse 6a. He is not here. He has risen just as he said. What do you think Peter and John were thinking when they got to the tomb and there was no Jesus? What do you think they were thinking?
He went back to his home.
That's maybe. Do you think they were surprised and curious and wondering what was going on? But they're going to see Jesus soon. They're going to meet him again soon. Just a minute. And he's going to explain what's going on next week. Did he surprise everybody? But you know what? I like the resurrection.
I the parts when they run.
When they run away. I like how the resurrection is a promise to all of us that we will have eternal life one day too. Right? And all we have to do is to accept God's free gift. And we can live with him forever. Okay.
Easter's in 2 days.
So we know that we can have eternal life with Jesus because Jesus rose from the dead. And so we know that one day we too can have a second birth or be alive again, right? With Jesus?
Yeah.
So we just want to wish you all a happy Easter, and we can't wait till we can get together again soon. Bye!
Bye. To you.